77 has good pace. Competitors blocking, they try to defend. So what is wrong with another spin? Carson's hungry, he needs to win. So give him the bottom as he sends it in. The car doesn't stick and he doesn't slow. The 38 spins as we scream, oh no. Hocevar wrecks them like a hurricane. Hocevar, Sunday he wrecked poor Zane. Hocevar wrecks them like a hurricane. Hocevar, Sunday he wrecked poor Zane.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Is another edition of the Front Stretch Happy Hour Show. Once again, a banger from Mr. Puke Combs himself. We got the normal group, the regular guys here. Mr. Michael Massie just trimming or just touching his beard majestically right now, and then you got the absolute mustache man himself, Mr. Dalton Hopkins. Fellas, how are we?
I'm doing good. It's a little earlier here this evening, but we're still going to give you the same great content, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. And now, Massie, I think I'm going to have you introduce our guest because you know him, and you asked him to be on. So I think it would be right if you introduced our guest for us.
Yeah. So our guest for this evening, you may have seen him gracing the track at Indianapolis Raceway Park, or I'm sorry, Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway of Indiana,
like 18 times.
A raceway of parking of
pretty much so.
He was in the ARCA race there. I know it didn't go exactly how he wanted it to go, but still cool to see him out there. And I've known this guy since 2020. We were met on iRacing through the former Monday Night Racing. May it rest in peace. And this dude won a championship in there. He was. Who'd you beat? You beat like Anthony Alfredo. Was that who you beat to win it? And yeah, it's been cool to see him kind of get into the sport. He was just a kid back then. So yeah, Presley Sorah, welcome to Front Stretch's Happy Hour podcast, the true happy hour.
Yeah,
how you doing, Presley?
Good. I appreciate you guys having me on. Definitely a lot has changed in the last couple of years since the first time I was on a Front Stretch show. I think, like you mentioned, the Monday Night Racing post show. So a lot has changed since then, but I'm happy to be here.
Now, Presley, you've had 5 races in the ARCA series. Obviously, not the way that you wanted to finish in all 5, but I want to dive into the race that just happened in 20. Your race in IRP a couple weeks ago. Not the result that you wanted, but just take us through that race and just all of the gremlins that you had to deal with.
Yeah. It was one of those days where like everything that could go wrong did somehow. Really from the start of the day, like lightning took out qualifying, and then lightning took out almost the entire practice session. And like, obviously I don't race full time, so, I need every single lap that I can get on the track. So losing both of those was pretty brutal. And we just had some issues throughout the entire day. We had a bad starter that was in the car, which is brand new, and just our luck just happened to be bad. And so the car had to get push started a ton all day, which was not fun. Obviously, it's never fun watching the grid pull away from you there at the start and having to wait for a tow truck to push you off. But we had that to start, and then like 35, 40 laps in, I think it was about 40 laps, the hood flew up going into turn number 1. So obviously flying off into the corner at IRP, going 135 or so. When the hood hits your windshield, that catches you by a little bit of surprise, but I drove it back, and unfortunately that's all she wrote. So I started very tail end of the field with no qualifying, and because of having to get pushed off on the grid. And so I started 34th out of 34, and I'd already worked myself up to, I think it was P24. I think I was up 10 spots when the hood flew up, and still on the lead lap and all. And then unfortunately that kind of sealed the fate of our day because obviously pitting under green in a short little track like IRP, I think we lost 6 or 7 laps maybe, but obviously too much to get back on lucky dogs or anything like that. So from that point, we were just kind of riding. I was just, trying to make the most of my laps, or at least, race and pass people and learn the most that I can. So we did that for another, 60 or 70 laps. And with around 30 or 40 laps to go, then I had to pit under green. I had a little bit of a vibration and it felt like the right front, especially going to turn 3, which I hadn't noticed before. And obviously, anyone that followed what I did last year, IRP, with the shock braking going into turn 3, I didn't want to have any bloopers like that happen again. Any walls, I don't want to be a part of them. So the vibration started to get worse, so I pit, and about the same time we were having radio problems. So I pit, and the car died in the pit stall, and just wouldn't refire after that. So unfortunately, it was fine when the car was running, and it ran good. But as soon as the car died, just couldn't get it pushed back off. And ARCA has a very weird rule that I didn't know about, where the crew has to be the one that pushes it off. So like they can't get a tow truck out there to just push us off down pit road. They're not allowed. So I figured they could, and I think that if they would have, we probably could have gotten back going. But obviously, just humans pushing the car off, there's just not enough power there to get it going. So fortunately, that ended our day. But everything was still positive aside from just the race itself. We did a ton of cool sponsor and fan activations. We were at Menards the night before, and that was fun. So still a positive event, just unfortunate the race day stuff.
Now, Presley, to us mere mortals who our experience of driving a car, driving a race car, is extremely limited to the point where it's almost non-existent. My experience, at least, of going over 130, 140 miles an hour is probably limited to like flight, like being on a plane. So when you're driving and the hood flaps in front of you and your visibility is just gone, how are you able to like limp back to pit road to be able, like, what was your initial reaction to that? Like, how do you get around that?
Yeah, so I don't know if I just got lucky or if this is just how it always is. I'd have to ask someone that it's happened to before, but I could see really, really well. The hood flap was directly in front of my eyesight, so I was looking right through that because it was pushed up when the hood was up. And also looking back at some pictures and stuff of me driving it back to pit road, it looked like the hood was up quite a bit, like about that much. So there's a decent little gap there for me to see. So I don't know if that's how it always is for people that go through that, or if I just got really, really lucky, but I didn't really have too much of an issue driving it back. It's a little sketchy coming in the pits. IRP's got a kind of weird pit road entrance where it cuts down really sharp into 3, and there's some jagged little barrels sitting down there, and I was a little sketched out that I might hit a barrel, but other than that, we were pretty good. But yeah, it definitely catches you by surprise. It's nothing you're expecting would happen, but believe it or not, this is no joke at all. So I mean, I've worked in the ARCA series for the last 3 years. I've raced in it for the last couple of years. Like, I have never seen a hood fly up ever in those 3 years. And I want to say 5 cars lost a hood at IRP on Friday. So
Weird.
it was just one of those weird days. It was at least 4, but couple did in practice, couple did in the race. It was just a weird day, just overall, with the schedule mix-ups and some of the weird incidents on track and mechanical bloopers and stuff like that. It was just a strange race day.
So theoretically, you could have kept driving it with the hood up until they black flagged you.
Save the time.
Why are you like this?
Honestly,
Just
like,
why?
in hindsight, I probably could have made a couple laps and hit minimum speed. But I don't know how much the series would have liked that. So, and I don't know how much I would have trusted myself to do that. But I think looking back at it, I might have been able to make it a few more laps.
Oh,
Go ahead, Bryan.
No,
so
go ahead, bud.
look, so I'm looking at the so I love NASCAR video games. Grew up on them. Half the reason why I'm such a huge fan of NASCAR, and half the reason why I got into a career of being in the sport. Massie said, one of your early beginnings is Monday Night Racing and iRacing. So how cool is it now for you to be in the reverse of that, and now you're actually a playable driver in the new NASCAR video game, NASCAR 25. I'm looking at the ARCA Menards roster right now, and you are number 66 for Maples Motorsports. I mean, what was your reaction to that?
Yeah, it is totally surreal. I don't even know how to put it into like good words because, I mean, I grew up playing NASCAR video games. Like,
What was your favorite one? What was the favorite one that you had?
well, so not to make anyone feel old or anything, but the first NASCAR video game I played was NASCAR 2011. So that was, yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, okay.
So that was like
You missed the
my big
golden era.
introduction. I know. But I love that game. I think my personal favorite was NASCAR Inside Line. I think I probably put the most hours in on that one. I thought it was really fun. And they had a great paint scheme selection on that game too. It was really solid. So I like that game, but I mean, I've spent an unhealthy amount of time playing NASCAR video games. Like growing up as a kid, I did it so much, like on the Wii, the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, like now PC. I mean, I have spent so much time doing that. So I can't even honestly believe that I'm in there as a playable character. And I almost don't even want to believe it until I see it. So I can't wait to see how it turns out, though. I mean, it will be really neat. And then, like, you know, my day job outside of racing is as an elementary school paraprofessional. So I have upwards of like 85 or so kids some days in my latchkey program, and then around 20 or 25 in the preschool. So like, it's going to be really neat hearing and seeing some of the kids play as me in the NASCAR video game. I've already heard a bunch of them. They're super excited about it. Their parents have told them. So it's really, really neat to have that little crossover there.
So I haven't played the new game yet. Is it possible, like, could I choose you for like a career mode or something and like get you up to the Cup Series level and win the Cup championship as you? Or would it be like a 20-year career and you look at still like the same guys in ARCA, the same guy? That's the way the old like video games were.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know for
is
sure.
now 70 years old, still running the Truck Series.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be that way. I think I saw something that they're not allowed to do driver transfers and stuff. So like in the current F1 games, like you'll have like Lewis Hamilton driving for Aston Martin and Max Verstappen driving for Williams. Like if you play long enough in the career mode, I don't think that they've got that this year just because, you know, they're the new developers. And I think that was probably one of their last concerns, but I think it is something that they'll do in the future. And the other big thing with that is like sponsors. Yeah. So it's tough to get all of the sponsors to allow something like that because obviously, like, you know, Pennzoil sponsors Joey Logano and they may only want Joey Logano or something like that, for example. So I don't know. It'd be really cool though. I kind of wondered about myself, like, what am I supposed to put in for my name when I'm playing the career mode in the ARCA series? Because if I put in my name, there's going to be 2 Presley Sorahs.
Hey, double your chances winning.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Presley, I just want to get your thoughts on just the state of the ARCA series because it feels like, and I'm trying to say this delicately because I'm not trying to be rude or anything. It feels like there's some drivers that are just hazards on the racetrack where they're going like 20 to 25 miles an hour under the speed limit, and like it's actually kind of getting scary. I mean, I think it was what race was it where it was like lap 3 and they were already getting lapped? I forget which one it was. But like, what can ARCA do something to have that not happen? What is the state of the series in your opinion, and how can it get bigger and stronger and healthier in the years to come?
Yeah, so I don't really know what the series would be able to do about the speed discrepancy because ultimately, like, ARCA is kind of the middle ground between, like, it is NASCAR, but it's also very, very grassroots. So, like, I mean, we go to dirt tracks, like little, like the dirt miles, like we're running in a state fair. So, like, in a few weeks, they have our garage area is like next to the amusement park rides in the Illinois State Fair. Like, no joke. It's like it's very grassroots, and so that's why, like, you have the massive spending difference. So, like, you know, obviously you see who the big teams are, and it's just not even close. I mean, you have 3 to 5 or 6 cars that, you know, they've got a 95% chance at winning, and if they don't win, it would have taken something going horribly wrong. So then on the flip side of that, you've got people that, I mean, they're building their race cars in a single car port garage. Like, their family's building it. I mean, there's teams with one pit crew member. So it's just you have the highest of the highest budgets and the lowest of the lowest budgets, and they're all on track together. And I mean, gosh, some of these cars out there too are so old. I mean, you've got teams building brand new ARCA built cars. Then, like, I tested at Daytona a couple years ago in a car that was driven by, oh God, it was like an early Jamie McMurray, Chip Ganassi car, but like early, like number 42 early. So it's crazy the difference in the field and the equipment and all, but I don't know that they can do a whole lot about it. And it would probably be too expensive to put in like spec parts or spec cars where everybody has to have the same stuff. I think they wouldn't want to do that, and it wouldn't be good for them, because then it'd just whittle out your core group of teams and drivers, which would be unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, on the sport itself, I think ARCA has gotten a lot healthier the last couple of years. It's still like people scapegoat, you know, if someone slams into a crash, oh, that's ARCA brakes. But at the end of the day, like, our field count was higher. It may have been every race last year, but almost every race than the year before. And then this year, the field count's been higher pretty much every race from last year. So the field counts are higher pretty much every week. I mean, we sent somebody home at IRP for the first time since 2012. So that was the first time. I mean, I was 9 years old the last time they sent somebody home at IRP in the ARCA race. So, I mean, we're getting the cars now. We had the Fox Sports race at Daytona earlier this year, which that's obviously promising for us if Fox trusts us enough to be on big national TV. So I think there's tons of potential there. We just kind of have to find it and harness it and make it work for us.
I want to ask real quick, can you talk about some of the stuff you do when you're not racing? Because I know you're there a lot of the races. I don't know if all of them, but at least a lot of them. I know you've done like social media for some. I think, have you spotted a few? I think. Mm-hmm. Talk about some of the other like odd jobs you've done like in ARCA.
Yeah, so that's one of the other funny things about the ARCA series. So, like, you know, obviously in your top 3 NASCAR series, for the most part on the teams, like, everybody has pretty much a set role. Like, if you're a tire guy, you're doing tires, and if you're a spotter, you're spotting. But in ARCA, or at least, you know, the midfield and back teams in ARCA, you kind of show up some weeks, you don't know what you're going to do, and you get assigned to something, and it may be something you've never done before. So I feel like I've gotten a pretty good little bit of experience doing a little bit of everything. So, I mean, I've spotted races. I almost like walked my way into a win as a spotter with Stanton Barrett at Watkins Glen a couple years ago, because we stayed out in the rain and we were one of 2 cars, and he restarted front row for a 1-lap shootout, and then tires didn't hold up. He finished like P8 or P9, but we had a chance. So that was fun. So yeah, I've spotted a few times, and then I do photography most weeks now. So that's kind of something I've picked up in the last 2-3 months. So I, like, any given week, I'll work for 8 or 9 different drivers. So I'll have 8 or 9 different cars on the track, taking pictures for them. So I've been doing that for the last couple of years. I've been doing social media for a few teams, so like Club Racing Inc., Fast Track Racing. I did Zachary Tinkle's some last year as well. So that's just kind of on a race-by-race basis. But there's a couple of them I do pretty much every week. And then they even roped me somehow into changing tires on a pit stop last year at Salem. So I'm no tire guy by any means. I'm 5'7", and those tires are about half my height standing there into my arm. So I'm not a tire guy build, but I did it, and it was a blast. But I don't know if I'd want to do it again. But all I can say is thank God the ARCA doesn't do competitive pit stops, because I much prefer the 5 minutes, because I don't want to fly over that wall and trip and fall on a tire. So, yeah, ARCA is kind of funny. You get to do a little bit of everything if you just keep showing up every week, and at least gets you experience for the future and other opportunities.
You mentioned the experience for the teams that have like it's very small. Like they don't have as much equipment as like the Venturinis or like JGR. What are their goals each and every week? Is it just to complete all the laps? Is it just to get a notebook for the years to come? I mean, there are teams that, not trying to be rude, that have like zero chance to win. What is their motivation to go out there each and every single week?
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, like there's quite a few teams that have no fighting chance at a victory. I mean, aside from Daytona or Talladega, and then even then, like a lot would have to go their way for it to happen. You know, for those teams, top 5 or a top 10, that's their win. And some, like you said, the goals go out there and complete all the laps. Just build a notebook for future races at that track. But yeah, it's mainly about experience. Then it's new drivers too in most cases. So you'll have a new-ish team with a driver that's never driven this track before. I mean, most of the tracks I go to and race, like I've never been there before. I drove at Kansas earlier this year. I'd never been on anything like that. I've tested Daytona a couple times. Like, I have no experience doing like the super speedway big tracks. So like in that sense, some of those teams, the goal is finish the laps, get the driver experience, and then even the pit crews too. Like most of the like the midfield teams, we use UNOH pit crews. So most of those guys, they'd spend a couple years in the ARCA series working for opportunities in the bigger series, and they're learning just as much as everyone else. So it's a process with them. First year or so is tough for everybody, and then they start to get it down. The drivers start to get it down, and it's kind of just a big rolling machine. But everybody's kind of got to bear with each other on it.
I'll ask you one more question, and then I think we should probably move on to our next topic. You got any more races planned for next year? Or how's it going working on stuff for next year?
Yeah, so next year I'm hoping to do the most races I've ever done. I'd like to be as close to full time as I can, but I'm working on a couple more for the end of this year. So they're in the last few races. I've got some opportunities there. Just obviously I have to secure the funding for it and find the marketing partners to make that happen. So the opportunity is there, and it's there to go full time next year as well. I just have to do the work on my end and try to make it possible. But it's certainly there, and I'm working hard at it.
Hey, Dalton, anything else you want to add before we move on?
Don't think so. I think we covered everything that I wanted to talk about.
That sounds like hey, it's all good with me. You know what else is all good though? That is My Place Hotels. They're a proud sponsor of frontstretch.com. They're the official hotel sponsor of frontstretch.com. Plush beds, in-room kitchens, pet-friendly hotels. They make it the perfect pit stop when traveling. Race fans, you can use promo code FRONTSTRETCH to save 10% off on your stay at any of our nationwide properties. Once again, 10% off nationwide. All you got to do is enter the code FRONTSTRETCH, because this racing season, be sure to make My Place your place. Dalton, you wanted to talk about, we didn't have time to mention it a couple weeks ago, but more and more news is coming out. You want to dive on in to see what is going to happen next June at a naval base.
Yeah, so forgive me, I'm recovering from coughing a lung out just a couple minutes ago, but
God bless you. Thoughts and prayers.
Yes. Hope for speedy recovery, but yeah, we man, I wish we had the chance that we were debating like in our private group chat whether or not like we should talk about this last week, and we just didn't get the chance to because we had such a big guest in Mark Martin, and obviously that took up a lot of the episode, but we got to talk about Coronado. We got to talk about the naval base. NASCAR going to race on a naval base next year in June, during or just a couple weeks before the 250th birthday of the United States. So, look, not a secret at this point. Like, obviously, I'm part of the military. I'm a service member, and me seeing that. When Trey Lyle first said, we were in our private group chat, we still talk to Trey Lyle and everything. And in our private group chat, Trey was like, oh yeah, they're going to race on a naval base. And I'm like, no, they're going to race near a naval base. They're not going to race on it. There's no way they're going to make that happen. And then sure enough, they just announced that, no, it is going to be at the at the Naval Air Station in Coronado in San Diego, which is absolutely bonkers to me. I never would have thought I would have ever seen a NASCAR race somewhere on a military base before, ever. So I am super excited. I think this is one of the coolest things they've done. I know we're what a week and a half past the announcement at this point, but we should probably share our initial reactions, because if I'm not going there, we don't know our schedules of what races we're going to next year yet, but if I'm not going there next year, I'm going to buy a ticket to go there as a fan, because that is a once in a lifetime thing I need to see.
That's Presley. You can kick us off. What were your thoughts?
Presley. I know there's not going to be. I don't know if there's ARCA going to be there. I don't think there is. They haven't announced the schedule yet, but
I'm sure you'll watch.
Yeah, we need to stay off of street tracks. Our guys don't have enough experience for street tracks. Like,
we don't need ARCA cars flying off and hitting an F-35 in the airplane hangar.
No. I'm concerned enough about turn 1 at Watkins Glen this weekend, and so let's keep it to the road courses. But no, I think it's a super, super cool event. Like you, I couldn't believe that it's on the actual base, especially because like all the rumors leading up to it pointed towards like just streets in San Diego and near the base. So I can't believe that they pulled that off, honestly. And truthfully, like the video that they released with Hocevar and Byron and all those guys, like that was the coolest video. I think that's the coolest piece of content that NASCAR's ever put out. That was such a neat video. I'm excited for it. I just judging based off of how they've kind of talked about it, I think it's a one and done race. I don't think it'll ever happen again after that, or at least not in this location. But it seems super, super cool. I'd love to go there. I don't know, like you said, I don't know what my racing schedule holds for next year, but it seems like it'd be a really, really cool event to go to. And I'm really happy that they got all three of the big series there too: Trucks, ARCA, or Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. I was kind of surprised that they had the feeder series there. I mean, I figured maybe Xfinity and Cup, but to have Trucks there too is really cool. So should be a pretty big event. It looks pretty neat from just an outsider's perspective. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am concerned about the Trucks being there, because they're like you said with ARCA, they're not the best road course racers in that series, and I could see it being just if Corey Haim's still around, he might win by a full lap. He had a 3-mile course. So, but it is cool that, like you said, all three series are there, and it's really cool that it's happening like the 250th, like you mentioned, Dalton, anniversary of this country. The only thing that can make that better is if it was July 4th weekend. I understand that, that's tough to make happen. So you just got to settle for what you can get. And I think it's cool to do for 1 year. It sounds like it's only a 1-year thing. Yeah, I don't know if it should be an annual stop. Maybe you could go around to different military bases as well. But I think for one time, this is awesome to go there. And just keep the presence in Southern California is the biggest thing, I think, just because there's nothing there since a certain track got bulldozed out of our lives. I'll just throw up the dislikes in the chat. Don't dislike this video though. So it hurt us. But yeah, I'm happy to see, even if it's not like the best racing or anything like that. I just think the experience will outweigh everything else. So like if you're watching the race there and you don't see a single pass, don't get too upset. Just like enjoy the environment. It's definitely one I think you want to go to rather than watch on TV.
Exactly. One of our comments, it's one of our mama bears at Front Stretch, Beth. She says it should definitely be a one-off. It takes away from the special if it becomes a regular thing. And honestly, that's a good point, because like, sure, Chicago is still fun. I went all 3 years, but it was definitely different the third year rather than the first year. The first year was awesome. Second year, it was still cool. The third year was cool because Dalton was there, obviously, duh. But it was still like, it was still like, oh, okay. Like the Clash in year 3 was like, like the first year was awesome, Massie. Well, Massie, you were there year 1 of year 3. The third year was pretty disappointing. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, year 1 was a little disappointing just because I think my shoes are still wet from that race.
Yeah.
But no, like just seeing how cool of a spectacle that was. I just got distracted by a comment that says I look
Whoa,
like
Michael
Nicolas
looks
Cage.
like Nicolas Cage.
I'm gonna say the good Nicolas Cage, because
There's the
the
second
good
one.
Well, there's movies where he's really good, and there's movies where he's really bad. So I'd be
He's
the
what
good
do you mean? He's
category.
Nicolas Cage. He's good in every movie he's ever in.
Have you ever seen the movie where he stole like a pig?
I've seen the movie where he
That's
sold
true.
the Declaration of Independence.
Well, no, Dalton. Everyone has seen that. But like, there's a movie about him and a pig. Hold on, I gotta go research it. Hold on.
Yeah, I
Give
think
me
it's
a
called
top.
Nicolas Cage Steals a Pig.
Nicolas Cage Pig.
The
Okay. It's literally called Pig. He is a truffle hunter who lives alone in the Oregon wilderness and must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved pig after she's kidnapped. There you go.
oh, what a great tie-in, Portland. What's
Hey,
happening?
my point, exactly.
Presley is like questioning his life choices right now.
Yeah. It's like, why am I here? You should have let me go already. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
So
Coronado.
on the street course / military base type tracks, I think it'd be really cool, kind of like Beth said, to keep it a one-off. But I think it'd be really neat to have like no more than one street course per year, but rotate it different venues. So maybe spend, I would say 3s are really pushing it. I think it'd be cool to keep it to like a 2-year thing per track. So go to Chicago for 2 years. Go to I guess they'll go to San Diego once next year probably, but then see what the opportunities are. Like Arlington's got the IndyCar race now. See if could you imagine how cool like a New York NASCAR Cup Series race would be on the streets? Like
Be
just
awesome.
different stuff like that, but keep it like a 1 or 2 year deal. Rotate it around. I think that would be so much better than just like a staple street course event. That way, the pie is very shared. Everybody gets a piece. Everybody gets a little bit of it, and then it also branches out our fan base too, to where if it's just in Chicago every year, obviously like not fans from Southern California might not want to go to Chicago. So if we spread that out across the country, I think it widens the group up for everybody.
I think we had a discussion kind of like that at the Chicago street race, in which we were saying like, I spoke to a lot of drivers at Chicago itself, and a lot of the Cup drivers said, yeah, we should just have one street race a year. I don't think, and regardless if it's Chicago or not. And well, I love Chicago, and I think that course was very well done and very well designed. I do think that it should be moved around a little bit, and I don't know how hard it was going to be. Kind of hard to top Chicago, but I think this is a really good way of doing it. And I do want to say, like, I find it so ironic that we're going to go to San Diego, a naval base, United States naval base, for the kind of celebrating the 250th anniversary of the birthday of the United States, and a New Zealander is going to end up winning the race anyway. So I like, it's not even going to be an American driver that wins the race. So I think that's very fascinating to me. But I agree. I think the novelty of the street race itself is what sells it, and I don't think that we should have more than one. I think just the one street race a year it almost makes it a crown jewel event in itself, no matter where it is.
I thought Connor's Village was from North Carolina, not New Zealand.
I mean, how many times has Connor beaten SVG? Like one time, I think.
At least once.
Just once.
He beat him he beat him in Atlanta, Dalton. He finished 11th, SVG wrecked.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's way different. Yeah.
Boom, burn. I don't even know this. I'm still thinking about Pig right now.
Good Lord, Brian. This is what we gotta. He sent it into the group chat. There is a pic. The clarity is pretty bad, but like that is Nicolas Cage. You can make out Nicolas Cage. He sent it into the group chat as if no context. We have other people in that group chat that are not watching this or are not a part of this
They should
podcast,
be.
and they have no idea why Brian just sent that.
Well, I was going to try and do a great transition. I really can't, but Beth said it great. Dalton Connors-Village would like to talk to you. I truly think for like the next 10 to 15 years, it's going to be a battle between the two Red Bull guys. For whether you're at a street course, whether you're at Sonoma, whether you're going to be at Watkins Glen, at Coda, or wherever. It's going to be a battle between those two because they're lights out the best two road course racers. And the thing is with Zilic, he's good everywhere. I mean, he kind of reminds me of a Jeff Gordon, where Gordon's amazing at road courses, and then he's also amazing at ovals and just overall tracks in general. So I really think it's just going to be a battle. But I mean, I don't think we can just plug SVG in. Obviously, he's going to be up there and going to be running. But I mean, we saw him. What was it? Was it last year, Dalton, in Chicago, where he wrecked or something? Briscoe turned him or something like that. I mean, it's not a given that he's going to win.
No, but it's about like 90%.
Yeah, fair.
Also, for the 10 to 15 years thing, we do have like a lot more drivers coming over from Trans Am now. So like, watch out for Brent Cruz, Thomas Nunziata. He's really good on road courses.
Yeah.
So I mean, Thomas wore him out at Lime Rock a few weeks ago in the ARCA race. So I don't know. This Trans Am crossover, I don't feel like has really started to happen until the last few years. Like Connor was really one of the first main ones, but those guys are bad fast at road courses, like lights out. So, I mean, while it's SVG now and then Connor too, I think, you're going to have a few more of these guys come over from Trans Am, like a Brent Cruz or Thomas Nunziata, and they're going to be fast. They're going to be tough to deal with because those, I mean, I'd have to imagine by looking at them, they race pretty similar to a NASCAR car, probably a little bit more downforce just because of the big old wings on them. But it at least gives them a little bit of a head start on it compared to some of the, experience of the road courses and the other lower levels of NASCAR. So I think those guys are going to be quick too.
Any final things before we transition into our third topic, gentlemen? No? Massie? No? I think, is Massie dead or is he frozen? Or
He is.
Yeah, okay.
His camera is frozen.
That's going to be a screenshot.
And
Thank
that
you
is
very
the
much.
face that is the face we're gonna have to deal with right now.
Okay,
there he goes.
He is that.
So his house got struck by lightning out in the wilderness of Virginia.
Presley, the thing is, it's every week with him. Every week it happens. Like it's
good lord, he's not even in.
Like we had Mark Martin on last week, and it happened. It's just yeah. I mean, what can we say about him? But Dalton, let's dive on into our third topic with Presley. Let's talk some driver swaps. Obviously, it was announced yesterday that Kaden Honeycutt will not be racing with Niece Motorsports the rest of the year. It was announced today that Stuart Friesen is going to be letting Kaden Honeycutt take the reins over. Meanwhile, back on the Kaulig side, Josh Williams has been let go, and then they've been putting in some Spire Motorsports guys in. Last week was Carson Hocevar. This week will be, I should say, Michael McDowell. I want to get your thoughts on this, and it's kind of what I told Trey Lau in our group chat. Racing is a business, and nice guy, Josh Williams, one of the nicest guys, but the thing is, he was not delivering with his results, and unfortunately, this is what happens.
Yeah, so first off, I just want to point out that in our group chat, Trey just marked a question mark next to the pig link that Brian sent, because of course he has no idea what the hell he's talking about. So that's Brian. No, but so regarding our topic, this whole thing with Josh Williams and Kaden Honeycutt, like it's almost like these teams don't believe in their own drivers, and it's really odd. In the case of Josh Williams, it's Kaulig's way of saying, we don't think that you're going to make the playoffs. We don't think you can win in these last 4 races or however many it is. until their playoff for their regular season, which is kind of absurd because Daytona's like there and Kaulig is good at Daytona. So I don't really get that one. I mean, I don't know if there's clearly some kind of ulterior motive. I don't understand why they would get him out of the seat. If they really don't believe in Josh, then okay, just wait till the end of the season and then you can replace him. That's fine. But do it in the middle of the season and you just eliminated your playoff chances entirely. I mean, imagine if the Wood brothers did that last year with Harrison Burton. They wouldn't have made the playoffs and they wouldn't have made all that money that they made. So that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I know it's a gamble, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. For Josh, it really doesn't make sense to me for Kaden, because I understand that there is a loyalty thing going on there, and that's fine, but drivers tend to do that. They sign contracts to go to different teams all the time. That's what drivers do. They want to improve their careers. I mean, if Presley here got offered a chance to go drive for a big name team in the truck series, I got to imagine that Presley, you would take it. I'm not telling you. Yeah, thumbs up there. So I got to imagine he'd take it. I don't really see why we have to punish Kaden. And now Caden's going to be in the playoffs regardless, because he's going to be with Tyler Young this weekend, and then he's going to go drive for Stuart Friesen the week after, and he's going to make the playoffs because he's already he's sixth in points, right? And Niece just has completely eliminated their chances of making the playoffs. Does not make sense to me at all. I don't get it. I know it's a loyalty thing, but at the same time, it's also the amount of money that you're making. Why would you get rid of that? Doesn't make sense to me at all. And Massie, you've put in some theories in our group chats. I really want to hear. I really want you to expel those to the world and tell everyone what you think.
Well, I think the Chevy could have made the call, right? They heard that Kaden is signing with Toyota, and they got a little mad about it. And I don't know. It's just an old school way of thinking, where I remember back in the day, when Robbie Gordon went to Richard Childress and said he wanted to start his own team, and Childress told him, "Well, go start it now." Bye. And it's just, you got a deal together. Everyone knows it's a business. You shouldn't take stuff personal when someone leaves to go pursue the next, a better opportunity after your deal is done. I don't know. It's the funny thing. So Kaden Honeycutt won a Cars Tour championship after switching teams mid-season. Watch him go win this one. You put him. That 52 truck looked fast at several points this year. Might be an upgrade.
It literally won.
Yeah,
they won a race. Yeah,
Niece has not won. And it could be an upgrade at a ride, and he could actually maybe compete with Corey Heim now for this title, Lane Riggs. So yeah, the Josh Williams thing, that was a good. I think that was a good move by Kaulig. Because you put Hocevar in the car, he's already shown what the car can do. He was running the top 10 all day, but it does show that the cars do need to improve a little bit, because he wasn't battling for the win. So I do think Kaulig is down a little bit, and that's the kind of guy they need to put in there to evaluate the program now that they don't have Allmendinger in the Xfinity Series. Or Niece, though, it's nobody, unless they're sticking Chastain or Hocevar or somebody in the truck, which it doesn't appear they are, and they won't be able to come
That's
Richmond.
The thing. Yep.
They're going to put people in there that aren't as good or experienced as Honeycutt, and you're not going to be able to evaluate your program. So it really just feels like great opportunity for Honeycutt, except for maybe this weekend where he'll run in the back. But awful deal for Niece, and just being mad about the whole thing.
Josh Williams ran 54 races for Kaulig and had 0 top 5s. It is hard to do that in that type of equipment. He had 6 top 10s. And you bring in a guy, for example, like Justin Haley, they want to win so they can get into the Owners' Championship. Justin Haley's got 2 wins at Daytona. Might as well plug him in the car there. Michael McDowell's a great road course racer. Plug him in the car at Watkins Glen. And then what they're doing is they're getting guys from Spire. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see like a guy like Raja go into the playoffs and get him a couple starts. Because, Cup guys can't be in the Xfinity Series during the playoffs. So they're going to have to bring the guys from the Truck Series, and whoever's in the Spire camp then, maybe that Andres Perez guy, maybe he could get a start or something. I'm spitballing here. The Niece Motorsports one is weird. Happy for Honeycutt. I think he's going to do great. Once again, thoughts go out to Stuart Friesen. Thankful he's still alive, but it is going to be a long road. Trey Lyle says Kaden Honeycutt equals Trey Lyle getting an upgrade after a mid-season swap. That's like a diss to you two, not a diss to me. But that's a diss to you, Dalton, and a diss to you, Massie. How would you guys like to respond to that?
He's doing a great job with BTH.
Disappointing.
Go listen to Bring in the Heat podcast after this.
Great interview.
We were the big losers in the deal, though, because now we're stuck with Bryan.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Trenton. You can exit Michael's camera. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, great.
Thank you. Presley, though, from your point of view, seeing a driver leave midway through the season, obviously, I don't know how much you interact with the main guys. Obviously, ARCA comes first usually in the weekend, but sometimes Xfinity does practice and everything. Just how much time do you get around these guys, and how much do you hear about the rumors in the garage area when you are at the racetrack?
Yeah, I hear quite a bit about the rumblings of it, but obviously until something's like announced, you never know for sure. I didn't hear anything leading up to the Josh Williams thing, so it surprised me that they did it, but I'm not surprised why. And this is just coming from an ARCA driver that's only made a handful of starts, but I don't feel like he performed up to probably what their level of expectation was. And he seems like a super nice guy, and he did really well in the DGM stuff. I think Josh is probably one of those guys that like he really overachieves in like a midfield car. And I think, I can't think of any examples, but there's several drivers that once they get an opportunity with a quote unquote better team, they struggle a lot more with it. So I think that there's something about the security being in the midfield to where they actually get better results. But yeah, I'm not surprised that they did that. Now, I will say, like, I am the number one advocate against firing people mid-season. I hate when teams change drivers or bail on a driver mid-season. Like, either do it at the start of the year, do it at the end of the year after things are all said and done. But I just cannot stand when teams get rid of a driver in the middle of the year. Like, F1 is really bad about it. They are terrible. Red Bull gave Liam Lawson like 2 races to start the year, and he's out. And it's just I don't like that mentality. I think you got to have a little bit more faith in someone. So like, obviously Josh had a few years, so that's a little different, but I still don't like it being mid-season like this. So I don't know. The Niece thing was really, really strange to me. Like you said, Massie, I think that could very well be from Chevy, just because if someone's leaving them and not backing them going forward, why should they back them? So it's just a weird deal, though. Now, I will say, I'm going on record here. You can screen record this, save it for later this year. Kaden Honeycutt will be in the championship 4 for trucks. And
Trenton, you can screenshot it, please, or screen record it, whatever that is.
Take it.
I don't. Yeah.
49-10.
Yes,
Thank you.
Kaden Honeycutt is an absolute wheel man, and I can't believe he hasn't won a race in trucks yet, and it's only a matter of time before he does. And he's one of those people, like, as soon as he wins, he's just going to keep winning. So I think he'll win one before the year's over, and I think he'll make it in the championship 4. Now, Corey Heim is also a wheel man, and I think probably one of the best drivers in NASCAR right now. So I think it would be tough for Kaden or anybody to beat him in the championship. But I think if the 11 doesn't bring their A game at Phoenix later this year, which they've kind of struggled with in years past, just putting that race together. I think Kaden would be my next pickup to win that. So either Kaden or Lane Riggs, but I think it's only a matter of time before he starts picking them off. And like next year, from what I've heard, he's going to a very prominent Toyota truck team. So if that is the case, which I think it probably is, I fully expect him to put a major stomping on the field next year and rack up a bunch of wins. So only time will tell, but feel free to get back with me in November when he makes championship 4.
You got it.
Bob Pockris said he thought Honeycutt was going to Tricon, which is the prominent team you're talking about, but you don't have to say that. But if that is true, and him and Heim are at Tricon together next year in trucks, they might sweep the season.
Honestly, yeah.
They legit might win every single race. And it would not be good for the truck series, but it would be cool to see that kind of greatness. As far as like the firing mid-season thing, I'm with you for the most part, but I do think if it's a situation where a guy's already leaving, you're already replacing him at the end of the start of next year, and I think once you get to the playoffs, if the playoffs start and he's not already locked in, he's not in the playoffs, then you should just go ahead and make the move. Like the great example, I think Daniel Suarez this year. Like if he doesn't make the playoffs, I say just pull the trigger now. Put Zillage in the car, get him 10 starts, and a little bit of a leg up for next year. So that's the only time I differ. But other situations like imagine if Hendrick got rid of William Byron like a year and a half in when he wasn't winning races. Like it'd be a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah. And so like Dalton said, it's a little weird that they just like bailed on any kind of championship hope with Josh Williams. Like obviously like the results haven't been there, but it's kind of strange that, I mean, I don't know how many races we got till the playoffs for extending, like 3 or 4. Can't be any more than that. Like I know it's not many, but like you would think if you're going to get rid of him mid-season, whatever, I guess, but at least like give yourself a fighting so like at least give yourself a fighting chance till the very end. I mean, because Brian, I think you mentioned like Kaulig's really good at Daytona and Xfinity. There's an absolute possibility, especially with 3 cars or whatever they've got, like they could get him into the playoffs. I mean, it would be a real chance for him to go out there and win that race. So I don't know. I think it's, like I said, I don't like them doing it mid-season at all, but at least, give everyone a chance to make it into the playoffs. And then, if it gets down through Daytona, haven't won a race, sitting wherever in points, not even close, and results still aren't there, then pull the trigger on it. But to just bail with, 4 races out, that's just so weird. It's just, I feel like it just seems like it hurts everybody. The only case that can be made for it is the Owners' Championship, trying to get one of the Cup guys to win a race like Daytona or Watkins Glen. But even then, I mean, I don't know. I like sticking with your driver if you've committed to him at the beginning of the year, and then making whatever decision needs to be made after that.
Trey Lyle says, I bet he will try hard next year in relation to Kaden Honeycutt. Ha, 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 ha. For more of those jokes, check out Bringing the Heat on Thursday. He had a great interview last week with Lee Diffie, who unfortunately we bashed his employer on the show 2 days before that interview came out. But still, I highly encourage you to check out that interview with Mr. Lee Diffie. The guy, Lee Diffie, who was calling this upcoming race, heading into our final topic of Iowa. Mr. Michael Massie, the future of Iowa is fill in the blank.
Well, so I think the future of Iowa is good. I think they'll be back there next year. My thing is, should they? Yeah, I don't really see a compelling reason to have it. I mean, maybe you have Xfinity and trucks go there like they used to, but for it to have a Cup date, especially Adam Stern, it was Adam Stern shared the story. It was, I think, the Des Moines paper had an article that was saying that like last year they brought in temporary grandstands for 45,000 people to be there. This year they didn't set that up, which means there was only 22,000 people there. Like, if there's not the demand to put in those more grandstands and their racing wasn't that great, I don't think we should go there next year. What do you guys think?
I find that very, very interesting. The lack of fans is what you're saying, because IndyCar suffered the exact same thing this year. I listened to the pit straight on the from the open wheel guys front stretch, the open wheel side of things, and which was Alex Gintz and Wyatt Watson and those guys, but they all said the same thing after Iowa, which was there was just an extreme disparity between the fans that were there last year and the fans that were there this year. And I listened to that, thought, oh, it's because the NASCAR Cup race is like 3 weeks away. Like, it's not really. All the fans are going to go to that instead, because I mean, hate to say it, but I mean that's NASCAR just got a bigger audience. It's going to have a bigger fan base, and to hear that even less fans came this year, it makes me think, I guess all the Iowa fans just got bored of racing all of a sudden. I don't know. So, or maybe they just don't want to spend the money to go watch a race that has a not so great product. And it's so unfortunate. And Amy Henderson came out with another Holding the Pretty Wheel last night, in which that I got to edit, and she wrote that it's not Iowa's fault that the racing was like that. It's this car. It's the short tracks. Iowa is, in all intents and purposes, is a short track. It's less than a mile, and that's all I gotta say. It's less than a mile. It's a short track. So this car has never been good at the short tracks, and I can't really see why we should punish Iowa because of a car that is just inferior. That's because you could say the same about Martinsville. You could say the same about North Wilkesboro. You could say the same about Bristol. Why don't we just get rid of all of them if we're going to get rid of Iowa? I mean, it's because Iowa's been a good track in the past. I thought the Xfinity race was okay. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was all right. And I think the fuel mileage factor of it was at least a little bit intriguing. There was some interest there from me, even though it didn't really end with anything wrong with William Byron. He ended up making it all the way to the end, but the lack of passing was certainly a turnoff. But again, that's not the track's fault; it's the car's fault, and something's got to change with this car. And we've been saying this after every single short track race this year for the past 3 years. Actually, just something's got to change with this car when it comes to the short tracks.
I do blame the track a little bit, though, because they only halfway paved it. Like, if they completed the pave job and you could have multiple lanes of racing, it might put on a good cup race if you could move around. Like with the next gen, you see tracks where there's multiple lanes, it actually performs well. It's the single groove tracks where this car is just terrible. So I would like to, if we do go back there, I would love to see them fork out some money to actually repave it. But like, my thought is just that if we're going to a place, if we want a short track on the schedule and we're going to a place that's only having 22,000 fans, then why don't we just replace that with an actual short track? Something Matt Weaver is always saying a short track is something under half a mile. Why don't we go to an actual short track around the country somewhere, like a South Boston or a New Smyrna or Five Flags, or and have 10,000 people there, or maybe you could do additional grandstands that have more. I don't know, and just actually go to a real short track where that will get rid of like all the aero discussion, because they'll actually have to move each other out of the way.
It won't change anything. Racing's still going to be ass.
Yeah, Bowman Gray was good this year.
Bowman Gray was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay. The only
was
reason
okay.
it was semi-decent is because people were slamming the crap out of each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's still ass. Bristol was ass. Martinsville's ass.
Bristol was a half mile. Bristol's a half mile. It still didn't really put on a very compelling show, at least this year. And that kind of I go back to I listened to the teardown this week, and Jordan Bianchi brought up just the idea of it's just maybe just make it the softest tire possible, which Goodyear has claimed they've done, but I don't think that's entirely true because we had that amazing Bristol race last year in spring 2024, and we haven't been able to replicate that tire. We had an option tire at Phoenix, and I thought that was at least interesting. It shook things up quite a bit. It provided some exciting moments, and for some reason we've gotten rid of that. I don't know why. It's at least a fix. It's maybe a band-aid to a gunshot wound, but at least helps a little bit. So I don't know, like just the fact that we're just kind of like, nope, this is the car and these are the tracks and screw you. We're going to just go here and you're going to like it. You're going to like the product. Like that's not the answer. Something needs to change. It doesn't have to be the car. It can be a tire. It could be anything. Just something has got to change. And we cannot just punish these racetracks anymore. Cannot do that. Presley, you race on short tracks a lot. I mean, I'm really curious on what your take is.
Yeah, so it's so funny with like NASCAR fans because like I will die on the hill of keeping Indianapolis on the schedule. And so Indianapolis seats 300,000 or something like that. And they may sell 55, 60,000 tickets. And all I see on social media is racing fans complaining, oh my gosh, look at the empty grandstands. There's nobody there, nobody going there to watch that. 55,000 fans, that's more than a lot of different tracks. Like if Darlington sold out, that's more than Darlington.
More than Iowa.
Double Iowa. Like,
yeah, more than Phoenix.
It's funny like how fans react to, like I saw a post this weekend saying, oh my gosh, look at that sold out crowd, this packed crowd of fans here to watch some NASCAR race in Iowa. Well, I mean, I would argue that 55 or 60,000 in Indianapolis is just as good, if not better, than 24,000 sold out at Iowa. So I don't know. I think you have to actually look at the numbers that they bring rather than just if it's sold out. I think that the facility in Iowa is really, really nice. It's a good track for us. I think I never understood why they didn't repave the entire thing. I think that they should have. But I will say, like, going back there this year, the pavement wore down a lot this year compared to last. I mean, it even, like, the color of it even, like, changed back to the original color. Like, it was completely dull. You almost couldn't even tell a difference between the new patches or the new pavement and the old stuff. So it did wear down quite a bit. I don't know why they didn't do the whole thing because it just seems like it's something they're going to have to do at some point. So why not just do it all at once? But I think I don't like the current Cup car. I really don't like it. I mean, sitting in the grandstands at the Brickyard, I was watching people follow each other off in the corner and wash up to the fins. So, like, I just think that this car is somehow the worst car ever for dirty air. Somehow even worse than the Gen 6 was in the latter stages with the 550 package, which I didn't even think that was possible. And somehow we've managed to pull it off. Like, it's awful. It blows my mind how bad the thing is in dirty air. I mean, you can have somebody, I mean, the name of the game now is track position. Like, used to, I can remember like being little watching the races, or even 6-7 years ago, like, tires were so important.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance you could get to pit and throw on a set of tires, you're absolutely taken. But now that's not the case. Like, you even see it at like the mile and a half. So it happens everywhere. Like, if you can stay out, you're going to keep the lead 9 times out of 10, like just off the clean air. Just because the dirty air is so bad, you just can't pass. And the cars are so equal that, like, once you're behind the 8 ball, you're there and you're stuck. So I don't like anything about it. I don't think it's the track's fault. I mean, obviously I don't I don't think the track is completely innocent because they did repave only the bottom of the track. So naturally the bottom's going to be the way to go. But I think, I mean, I think that the Cup car 10 years ago or 15 years ago or whatever, racing on Sunday would have been a totally different and much better product than what we actually got. And unfortunately, we didn't get that. And it's a shame. I like Iowa a lot. I think it was really weird how the track handled the IndyCar race a few weeks ago, because if you looked at their social media pages, there was not a single post advertising the race. Not one. I don't think there still has been after the race. I don't think the entire weekend, I don't think they posted one social media post about IndyCar being there. So weird, because IndyCar, I mean, up until this year, that was their big event. Hy-Vee dumped tons of money into it, and it's like as soon as Hy-Vee backed out, they completely dropped it. I mean, they had the races this year, and that was about all that they did. I mean, there was more people at the ARCA race, and I can't prove this based off of stats, but just visually, there was more people at the ARCA race on Friday than there was at the IndyCar race a few weeks ago, and it seemed like by a lot. It seemed like almost double. It looked like one of the better crowds that ARCA has had all year, but obviously you're looking at 24,000 grandstand seats. But still, I mean, it was a good crowd by our standards for a Friday, ARCA only track day, and we slaughtered IndyCar just based, on just pure visuals. So I just think, I don't know what the track's doing as far as marketing themselves, and the NASCAR car is not helping them on the NASCAR side. So I think the IndyCar product at Iowa is really good, and it even has been not quite as good, but still decent after the repave. So you've got a good IndyCar product, and the track, for whatever reason, bails on it. And then you've got a bad NASCAR product, and we're dumping a lot into it. And it's almost like backwards, but I don't know. I'd like to see the track stick around, but the Cup race on Sunday was not good at all as far as like on-track racing and passing. So I don't know what can be done about that unless we do something about the car first. But I think the other series are cool there. The Xfinity cars are good. Trucks would be good if we still went there with trucks. So I don't know. I think that it should stay on the schedule, but it just wasn't a good weekend for it. And there's some weird things going on behind the scenes with it.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin kind of said it best on his podcast. The tires suck, the racing sucked, the car sucks, and I sucked on Sunday. So, at least
Brian.
Shut up. Trenton, remove him, please. Thank you. But one point I didn't thank you very much, Trenton. But one point Trenton did make in our private chat, make the rain tire the tire minus the tread. And I mean, it is true. That is a good point, because it does wear faster. So I feel like they should go in that direction. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But let's wrap up the show.
Can I say one more thing?
Oh God!
I will say, if the rumor of Chicagoland's might come back next year, that date's got to come from somewhere, a NASCAR-owned track. I'm just saying, like, if you were to take the date from somewhere and put it to Chicagoland, that Iowa one's probably looking pretty appetizing right now. Javier brought that up in the chat earlier. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I do think it's going to be Mexico City that's going to get removed.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Which sucks. But, with FIFA going there, and it's just they could. And according to Jordan Bianchi, NASCAR and IndyCar were trying to work together to have a race there, but obviously it apparently fell through. So unfortunate there. But wrapping up the show, Presley, what are you gonna be? Are you gonna be in Watkins Glen this weekend? And then what does the rest of the season look like for you?
Yeah, so I will be at every ARCA event from here forward. I've only missed a couple this year. I missed Charlotte and Elko and maybe one other, but I'll be at all the remaining events. I'll either be working, doing the photos or spotting or social media or a mixture of all three of those, or driving. So I'm still working on a couple more driving opportunities. I'm pretty confident I'll get them sorted, whether it's, just a couple races or just one. We'll see, but I'm working hard at it. So hopefully I'm back in the seat a couple more times before the end of the year, but regardless, if you're at an ARCA race, I will for sure be there.
I was seeing there's a 15-year-old just turned 15. He's going to be in the field on Friday. And I'm like, God, I'm old.
He's in one of the fastest cars there too. It's the Spire car.
I know.
It's such a nice car.
Oh my God! Like
Yeah.
that's mind-boggling to me. You know what else is not mind-boggling? That is the absolute perfection that Dalton Hopkins writes on a daily or on a weekly basis. Mr. Handsome, are you going to be writing anything on Sunday after the race in Watkins Glen?
Well, sweetie, I actually won't. I will
buddy.
be out of town this
Man.
weekend. I will be performing duties elsewhere, but I'll be back in time to do thinking after Richmond. So yeah, there you go.
Spectacular. Mr. Michael Massie, are you going to be writing anything? Do you got Fire on Fridays or anything of that nature?
I have a Fire on Fridays column coming out this, you guessed it, Friday.
Really? I thought it was going to be Thursday. Crazy.
Maybe it'll go up like 11 p.m. Thursday or something.
Tonight or tomorrow.
But so give that a read when it comes out on frontstretch.com. And I think this is my last weekend like off before going to like 4 straight races or 4 and 5 weeks or something like that. Something crazy. I'll be at Richmond, Milwaukee for IndyCar, Southern 500, and Gateway. So
yeah,
I think
4
there's
straight
one.
weeks.
There might be 1 week.
Daytona's before that.
Yeah.
So you have a week off, and then so you're on for 2, you're off for 1, you're on for 2 again.
I think so. Yeah.
So 4 and 5.
And follow it all along. My channels and front stretch, YouTube, website, Twitter, all that stuff.
Maybe not his channels, but front stretches for sure. Yeah.
He has probably an explicit channel that has like OF on it, but we don't want to talk about that. For me, I'm going to be potentially going to see a championship be crowned in Portland on Sunday. Alex Palou, all he has to do is beat Pato O'Ward. It doesn't matter if Pato finishes 19th and he finishes 18th. He is the 2025 NTT IndyCar Series champion. It's not a matter of if, it is just a matter of when. So potentially we could see the Pacific Northwest crown a champion for the second time in about 4 years with the same person, that being Mr. Alex Palou. So check out the FS Open Wheel channel and then my socials at the Bryan Nolen and Danny Peters, who's going to be with me in Portland. Presley, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much, and we'll have you on later on in the season, my friend. Thanks, bud.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
For Presley Sorah, Dalton Hopkins, Michael Massie, I'm Bryan Nolen. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Trenton Worsham, my producer. Coming up next on the Front Stretch Podcast Network, Bringing the Heat with Trey Lau. It's got all the latest news notes as well as an interview that he will announce shortly. So, for all of us, thank you so much, and we'll talk with you next Tuesday here on the Front Stretch Happy Hour Show.